What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. Good to see everybody. Thank you all for showing up tonight. I know it's been a minute since we've been live, but glad to be back. For sure. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you guys had a good week last week. Maybe even got to enjoy some time off of work. That'd be awesome. Let me go ahead and fix my settings here and we can get started. If you have any questions, don't forget, please go ahead and ask them in advance so that when I'm done my little run through, I can just go ahead and answer before we end the stream. All right. So let's go ahead and get started by taking a look at the charts. And what's going on, El Bosch, Rick in Doge, Scotland? How's it going? Don't forget, if you have not already, please click the like button so that more people will get their notifications that we are live. I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Dogecoin. And as you can see by the title, guys, we're going to be talking about Dogecoin and Shiba Inu in this stream. But that's not all. We're also going to be discussing Cardano briefly, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the usual, the whole roundup. And if you've got any questions about something else, feel free to ask. That way I can make sure I cover it. What I'm going to do first is talk about Dogecoin, all right? Because everyone's probably wondering what's going on. As you can see here, if you just look at the daily time frame, you get a really interesting perspective and a really interesting visual on what's been going on here with Dogecoin over the last couple of weeks, or really over the last couple of months, because on the daily time frame, this is the whole year. So this here is about February, all the way on the left, and here is current day, just to put that into perspective, all right? Now, if you take a look here, this is when we had the SNL run-up, where Elon Musk did his skit, all right? And so we went all the way up to 75 cents. We already know about that. And then ever since then, we came down, and our absolute lowest point here was about 16 cents. And I'll just draw a red line here to indicate that. But what I'd like to do is get rid of the EMAs here. So let's put a line right here at the bottom to indicate this 16-cent level that we're talking about here. All right. And that's been our absolute bottoms. Kenny, what's going on? Hey, good to see you again. Good to see you too. Thanks for showing up. Right above that, our next lowest level of support that was pretty consistent was right here at about 19 cents. So you can say that really any time that we're feeling relatively confident in Dogecoin and we see a bounce at 16, it's a buy zone. And if we see a bounce at 19, it's a buy zone. We've got our two lowest levels of strong support here. But then there's actually just a little bit of a range here when it comes to that dip zone. And that tended to be somewhere in between this area. So right around 21.5, 22 cents down to 19. So really this dip buy potential bottom area is a range. It's not just a price of 19 cents, but it's a range right here of about 19 to 21. And so whenever we're in the Discord group and people are asking, Dogecoin's pulling back, where should I be looking for a buy opportunity? What's the most likely? Is it safe if I'm going to buy here? This is the perspective that I always go to if anyone's been trying to pick my brain. And it's right here that obviously if we can get a 16-cent dip, that would be great. And then we had mapped this out way long ago as far as what the absolute bottoms could be. But as we can see, we're not even considering going into that area. So what are the most reasonable dip zones that we can look to buy? That's going to be 16 cents. On the absolute worst case scenario, but then more common scenario, as you can see by all this activity, is going to be anywhere from 19 to 21 cents. If you can buy in there and you feel pretty confident that it's not going to keep going and that that's going to be the bottom and it's going to curl back up, then that's your ideal dip zone. And so what we saw today or over the last couple days was a bit of a pullback all the way down to 19.20. And how perfect of a dip buy was that? Now, if you're wondering why we pulled back, just some bad news being spread in the entire crypto market. We kind of saw a pullback in the crypto market, not just in Dogecoin, but Bitcoin, Ethereum, pretty much everything, unless it had some really good news, was pulling back. So it wasn't just Dogecoin. But what ended up happening today was Dogecoin took off on its own And then Shib did also. But if you just take a look here, now we're on a lower time frame. I switched from the daily chart to the 30-minute time frame. And as you can see here, 11:29. So coming into this area right here, this was right around midnight coming into the early morning hours here. You can see we moved up from 19.20 all the way up to 21, which is a pretty big move when the crypto's that cheap. That's actually about like a 10% move just over the course of a couple hours. And then a slight pullback, and then we went parabolic right here. This is just one 30-minute candle. We went all the way from 20.5 up to 22, and then the next candle carried us up to 22.5. So then another 10 to 15% move right here, almost 20%. So overall, this is about a 30% move that we had right here. This is pretty incredible. So just for that to happen overnight. And as you can see, we are still holding right here. With the pullbacks, we had one kind of cross below this level, and now we're bouncing off and creating a support right at the top of this box that I drew right here. And I'll just make that a different color so you can see that line. Now we're finding some support right here, and we're looking to see what's going to happen next. So hopefully you're following me so far. So now, right now on Dogecoin, it's a test of the market. It's a test of the hands. Are people paper handing right now? Are they going to be selling, taking profit, or are they feeling confident and bullish and they're going to diamond hand through this and then continue to load up and buy more? That's what this consolidation is going to indicate here. So as we can see, it's going for a while now, and people aren't too certain, but you see a lot of rejection wicks here on the bottom, which is usually a pretty bullish sign when it comes to technical analysis. So indicators are saying we could continue. Reality on top of those indicators is going to say maybe, maybe not. But now, just like I always say, technicals on its own, pretty much useless. They are great, and I'm a technical analysis guy. I prefer to trade based off technicals. But especially in cryptocurrency, it is not just about the technicals. It is a combination of the technicals and what's going on in the market that is causing the moves to happen. And without knowing that, you really can't accurately predict what's going to happen next. It's just too important. So what happened today and last night that caused Dogecoin to sprint and create this massive bullish run? Well, if you just go ahead and search Dogecoin here and look at maybe, let's say, the top posts, here's one thing right here. Binance has fully opened withdrawals of Dogecoin after a technical glitch that spurred a heated back and forth between Elon Musk and the exchange's CEOs. So this isn't some good news that's going to cause the price to skyrocket, but this was just positive news that Binance fixed their technical issues that they were having with Dogecoin, and now things are running smoothly. All right, so that's one positive thing for Doge, but that's not it. Another thing is some people are seeing well, some people are looking at this differently, but they're looking at the consolidation pattern that's been happening on Doge as a potential bottom or potential top. So people are seeing the consolidation. They're thinking it's like a double bottom or triple top, whatever, or double bottom, double top, and they're thinking it's going to go one way or the other. All right. So some people are thinking we're hitting a bottom and we're going to bounce up. That's also not what I wanted to talk about either. What I wanted to talk about is something I retweeted. So let's just go ahead and find it that way. It'll be the easiest. All right, and not that. It is right here. So this is the main reason that Dogecoin is spiking today. So the CEO of Binance, who we all know has been kind of an avid hater of Dogecoin and always talks negatively about it for no reason. Well, as you just heard, Elon Musk and him were going back and forth over Dogecoin and the fact that really the people should be in control of their coins. And with Binance not allowing withdrawals or having a difficulty with withdrawals for a period of time, it was really just creating an issue, kind of that issue with, other people controlling things that they shouldn't be controlling with crypto. So anyway, Binance CEO got the issue fixed, and now instead of trash talking Dogecoin, he's giving away Dogecoin. So he said, I'm giving away a Doge Tesla and $50,000 in Doge. So doing this massive Dogecoin themed giveaway, it's spreading a lot of Dogecoin awareness. It's getting people hyped again. And especially because it's a Doge Tesla, it's getting people thinking about Dogecoin for Tesla, which is Dogecoin's main catalyst that we're all waiting on. All right, and so he's giving away both a Dogecoin themed Tesla and $50,000 in Dogecoin, just to reiterate. And then he says, which do you want? And then this is how you enter, and then you just tweet with the hashtags Doge or Tesla, almost like Doge for Tesla. A lot of people thought it said that at first, and hashtag Binance, and then our favorite answer from each team will win. All right. And so that's what's going on. And you can see here's the little GIF of the Doge themed Tesla, and here's the little short film. All right, so this is pretty cool. At the very least, what it's doing is just respreading awareness of Dogecoin, getting people hype. People that really aren't so much into Dogecoin, that are fans of Binance, that may follow the account, they're getting exposed to it. They're seeing maybe they're going to enter, and it's just generating some more hype around Dogecoin, which is great. And so that's what ended up causing the spike, just in case anybody was wondering. All right, now from a more technical perspective as well, it did help that at that moment we were just coming off of a deep pullback here, bounced off the 200 EMA, did a pullback, and then we're right at this level of support. And so the good news with the support bounce just really catapulted us up. Really clean bounce. All things kind of lined up and tied together. Don't forget, guys, click that like button if you haven't. I do appreciate it. Thank you. So that's what happened with Doge. If you have any questions about Doge, please go ahead and ask. Let's check on the poll so far. I asked, do you think this bullish run will continue? About 70% so far have said absolutely, whereas only 33% have said no. So most people are bullish. That's awesome. Now let's talk about Shiba Inu. What is going on with Shiba Inu today? Oh, there we go. No, we don't. It's Shib, isn't it? Okay, here we go. So here is Shiba Inu, guys. All right, if I'm just to zoom out, let's do the same thing we did with Dogecoin here. First, we'll start with the daily chart. As you can see, this is where we were sitting originally. Then once the Robinhood hype kicked in, we had this massive two-leg move up. The first move was up to about 35. We did a pullback, consolidated, and then the massive breakout where it over 2x from that point and went to about 9. Ever since then, some of the hype cooled off. Robinhood started to say some negative things that made it sound like maybe Doge or Shib was not coming to Robinhood anytime soon. And then also people were looking to take profit because they had over 10x if they were holding from here. So that was almost a 20x move. A lot of people wanted to lock in profit. So what we saw is just the gradual selling off with no substantial moves up. You know, we did a triangle here, broke out the bottom, bit of a consolidation, another move down, and we've just been making lower lows and lower highs all the way. Then all of a sudden, you know, we hit this level here of what seems to be support, and then this big move up. What actually caused it? Because usually, yeah, you'll get some technical patterns, but the direction that it's going to break usually has to do with fundamentals. So, and here's the move just zoomed in a little bit. You can see the massive move here. So what happened here? Why did we break from about 38 all the way up to 4,400? Well, let's go ahead and show you why. 1 second. And I believe I retweeted it. Well, there's multiple reasons, and let me find the link really quick here. Here's one. Actually, here's two. One right here. Shiba Inu deposits are live. Trading starts November the 30th. This is from Kraken, and this was just posted today. So, Shib is going live on another exchange. This is one of Shib's main catalysts, just being taken seriously. And it's really the main catalyst for anything that's considered a meme coin, is being taken seriously by people, by exchanges, and when it's listed on exchanges, just like for Dogecoin, our biggest catalyst for a while was getting listed on Coinbase. It's the exposure, And the more reputable exchanges you see a token on, the more you start to believe in it. And again, the more exposure that people have to it, it becomes easily accessible. Before, the biggest problem with Shiba Inu was that people just could not buy it unless they went through all these steps. They had to buy Ethereum tokens and then go on to Shiba Swap, or not Shiba Swap, it wasn't out yet, and then go on to like Uniswap or something and trade their Ethereum for Shib, and it was this whole hassle. Now you can just go onto a reputable exchange, Kraken, Coinbase, whatever, and just go buy Shib straight up, one step. And that's the way it needs to be. And so here we go. Shib listed on another exchange, and that will be starting tomorrow. Deposits are live, and you can start like selling, trading tomorrow. So that's good news. And then on top of that, we've got Newegg, believe it or not. So this was another big announcement right here that caused the move up. Coming soon to Newegg, Shib. And so you're going to soon be able to make purchases on Newegg.com with Shiba Inu token. You're going to be able to make payments with Shib. That is really, really big for Shib, and that's another reason why Shib had to move today. Now, it's not surprising that Newegg did this because Newegg was actually one of the first major stores that are reputable to embrace the altcoin movement, as they were one of the first to accept payments with Dogecoin. And so now seeing this with Shib is not surprising, but it is great news. So I'm sure the Shib army is happy about that. And as you can see, that kind of sparked this massive move up that we're seeing right now, where we're now about 12% up on the day. Shib coming to Newegg, and Shib is coming to Kraken. Just for anyone that just popped in, hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. All right. Now, that's the Doge and Shib coverage. Now let's talk about a couple other things. And then if you have any questions, we'll entertain those. If not, we'll wrap up. So, let's see. Cardano. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. If we take a look at Cardano here, and you guys know how bullish and positive I've been on Cardano, it had quite the tumble, all right? It made quite the move up, and just as fast as things go up, they can come back down, and as you can see, that was the case. Massive amounts of hype came in right around this $1 mark. Cardano went all the way up to 310 at 3x'd, and now it pulled all the way back. We're on the daily time frame here. This is generally what most people, including myself, would consider the most conservative time frame. And even looking at the 200 EMA on the daily, we went way under that. That 200 EMA was sitting there at about 194. If we go to the weekly, then that EMA drops to 170. What about the monthly? And here you can see this is about the support levels that we just bounced off of. The monthly 200 and 100 EMA line. That's insane. That's not good. The only thing worse than that would be going quarterly or yearly. And there are some reasons for the pullback here. Now, overall, I would still be bullish on Cardano. And honestly, this whole area down here under 180, I would be considering a dip buy here. Because come next year, once the markets fully recover and this FUD has stopped spreading on Cardano, it's probably going to be back up here and towards 5. So this is really a great dip. I honestly, I was feeling the FOMO just naturally when we were up here, and I was looking for a buy-in in between 2 and 250. And then there were people still looking for a buy-in up at 270, 280, fully convinced that we were going to be like $20 by now. And the thing is, I still think that could happen next year. Not this year, but next year. So if you really look at the price right now, we got this great pullback to 140. We've only bounced up about 10% beyond that to 160. This is still a good buy opportunity. So that's what's happening here. Now, the reason that Cardano, one of the reasons that it's pulled back other than the hype, is that it is being delisted from eToro, unfortunately. And that has gotten a lot of people scared. So eToro is going to delist Cardano and Tron for US customers. And US is usually the market that hits the hardest if it's not China. eToro to delist Cardano and Tron for US customers due to regulatory issues. So that bad news caused a lot of people to panic and close out their positions, and also scared some people from opening new positions, which means now you have increased selling pressure, reduced buying pressure. That means the price is going to trend down, and that's why we're in the downtrend here. But This is very good if you believe in the project, because this just means you get another chance to load up and hope we go right back to $3 again. So if you're smart, you'll be looking at this for a dip buy. All right. And now let's go to Ethereum really quick. Ethereum here. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of the project of Ethereum. I am not a big fan of using Ethereum. That being said, the reason why I'm not a fan of using it is because there's so much demand that it's really brutal and expensive to use. But as an investment, you want to be invested in something with high demand. That means that the value of it has not peaked. People still want it despite the high valuation. And what I mean by this is, if you've used Ethereum recently, you know the gas fees are ridiculous. They can be anywhere from $500 to about $1,000 per transaction if you're transacting during peak hours. People are still using the network. They are still paying those gas fees. That's how much they want to use the Ethereum network. And we know that Ethereum's only going to continue to get better. And for that reason, no matter where this price sits, kind of like Bitcoin, anything under like 5 to 10K is probably a dip buy. So I still think Ethereum's a buy. Here we have some really strong bullish consolidation. We did have a big red candle. Now we've got 3 big green candles about to break above this level. I do think another uptrend is potentially about to start here on Ethereum. Still looking pretty good to me. Another thing here is that Vitalik Buterin has noticed the gas fees here. And before, we know Ethereum 2.0 is supposed to be the cure-all, save-all of the problems that we're dealing with right now with Ethereum, scalability issues, and gas fees now because of those issues, and needing to figure out a way to prioritize transactions with the limited miners that we have. So the solution proposed is potentially to increase block size so that more transactions can go through per second. So a small update that would need to be unanimously voted on and agreed upon to keep the transaction speed the same, but increase the block size so that more transactions can go into each block, which should help to reduce some congestion because more people can get their transactions through in a block. And then that should also help to, since there's less congestion, keep costs down a little bit. Now, unless they like double or honestly like triple or quadruple the block size, it's not going to make Ethereum cheap to use, but it might make the $700 fee like $300 or maybe like $200, which is a big difference, even though it's still insane. So that's progress, not enough, but it could be a little bit of a bridge for people that are going to just keep using Ethereum no matter what. It'll put some money back in their pockets. So that's cool. There is that. And then finally flipping over to Bitcoin here. Bitcoin is doing okay. Now, Bitcoin did pull back all the way down here to about 53,000. If you're in the Discord group, you already knew that this was not really a reason to panic, and there was a couple main reasons why. And it's really, if you just look at the EMAs, you can see there was strong support here at this 54,000 level because you have the 100 EMA on the daily time frame right here at about 54.5. And then under that, you've got some strong support here. You can see when we did this little flag here, or pin it right before we broke out to the top side, support was right there at 54K flat. And then also right here, when we were making the move up, we had strong resistance at 53,000 flat. So this little area was the most likely stopping zone. And if I'm just to draw this line right at the top of that thing, let's do that. And I look over to the left just to see is it actually a strong level of support. Here's the line, by the way. And you could see here, if I just get rid of the EMA indicators here to clean up the chart, and let's now also get rid of these, to be honest. These are a little old. All right, so now if I look at this green line I just drew, you can see that this actually is a strong level because previously, right after the initial bull run here, on Bitcoin, the pullback spot was pretty consistently right around here. This, and I moved that line by accident. Let's refix that. Was right around here, 53,000. You could see pullback here, here, some support here, 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 all over the place. 53,000 was a strong level. Now you have support here, or resistance here, support here, and now you look over and it all makes sense. The pullback stopped right at the same area of support that was proven before. So there was no reason to panic here. This was the most likely pullback spot. But then if we did break below that 53,000 level, the level was going to be 50,000 right here at the 200 EMA, not the 100, but the 200, the red line. That would have been 50,000. We already know that there's plenty of support and resistance at 50, so that would give it even more strength. Then if it went under that, that was going to be time to panic. If we ended up comfortable 49, 48, 47 or lower, then we could be going into a bit of a bullish trend. I'm sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up. A bearish trend, but that did not happen. So all is good. We had a nice strong bounce here off 53 and a move up here to around 50, 58, and that's where we're sitting right now. And now things don't look so bad anymore. Yeah, it would be nice to get back above 60,000 here, but even still, what we need to do is just let this pattern here finish out and then see which way we're going to break. Are we going to bounce off of here? Because you can see there's a bit of a broadening descending wedge here. That's the technical name for the pattern. And if you can't see it, I'll help you see it. And there's a couple different ways you can draw this depending on which start and end point you want to consider. Doesn't really matter. Either way, it's the same concept. We had tight consolidation here, and it's just continuing to widen as the trend descends. So it's a broadening descending wedge. That's the name of it. And we're going to break out in one direction or the other. Now, as far as which direction that will be, I would not follow the actual definition of which way it's supposed to break out, because news can change anything. All right, news and feelings can, in the most bearish trend, cause it to just spike in the other direction, or vice versa. But we can look it up. All right, broadening, descending wedge. And a broadening descending wedge is a bullish chart pattern, and generally what happens is this. You get the initial downtrend, it starts to broaden in the descending manner, and then after one last bounce off the bottom, it does go back up to the top, but then it breaks out the top. So that's the usual result of a broadening descending wedge pattern when it's coming from a downtrend. And that's what we have right here. So that means that on one of these moves, whether it's this one, or if it goes down again, on one of these moves, we should be seeing a eventual breakout to the top side. How far it will go has nothing to do with the pattern, but we should be seeing a reversal of this downtrend, now moving to the upside. And then after it moves to the upside, will it hit a support or a resistance and then come back down? Or will it just break out and continue? That's to be determined. That is most likely going to be determined based off of news. All right. But according to the pattern, there should be an uptrend here soon. Now, where the news kicks in is that there is still a whole lot of FUD being spread in regards to the Mt. Gox situation with the Bitcoin potentially going to be dumped. These guys held like 850,000 Bitcoin for people before, and then they kind of went under. And now somehow they got some kind of break to where they got like 150,000 reinstated that they're going to be paying out to holders. So the question is, are those holders going to dump? And if they do dump, that's 150,000 Bitcoin that could cause a market crash. So there's that FUD. And then Evergrande, I just saw it come back up in the news today, where there's another concern that they might in fact go under yet again, despite the help that they were getting. It says global bubble bursts, Evergrande set for collapse, causing great reset worse than 2008. This was posted today. It says that they face 221 billion euros worth of debt, And one expert claimed the company's collapse could spark the fall of the financial system. All right. It's estimated due to the size of the property market, estimated at 55 trillion. He claimed the collapse of China's property market will create a worse financial meltdown than what was seen in 2008. There's just a lot of concern. And so that's some FUD that's being spread about Bitcoin, because we know that a lot of the investors were invested with crypto and financials, investors, people losing money. It's just bad all around, because then the investors don't get their money back. They can't pay for their leverage positions. They have to close their leverage positions, usually because those positions are so big because they're leveraged that when people sell, it causes quite a hit on the actual sheets. And then people see big red candles, and then it creates a snowball effect as people panic, and then people get liquidated, and that creates a snowball effect. And then because people get liquidated, the price dumps, and then more people get liquidated, and that usually just starts a chain reaction that crashes the market. So Evergrande going under would not be good, long story short. And that is part of why we're seeing Bitcoin still not doing so great, even though there were predictions that we would be hitting $98,000, $100,000 by now. Just like I said a month ago, I do not think it's happening, and it's not happening. That's because technical analysis alone does nothing. What really matters is what's happening in the market and how people are going to feel. People act at the end of the day based off their emotions and not so much off lines off the chart. The lines off the chart can strike emotions in them and cause them to make a decision, or if they're smart and they consider themselves just really logical, sometimes they'll just trade off the chart only, but that will only get you so far, because you cannot predict things that are going to happen outside of your door if you're not looking. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up, guys. I don't see any questions here, so looks like still about 75% of you guys are bullish on the market. Great to hear. I would be bullish as well, but at the same time, just be careful with your investment sizes. Just flipping back to Doge here before we wrap up. Here, I do still think buying Dogecoin now is one of the best things you can do. That being said, with Bitcoin showing some signs of uncertainty, I would be a little bit careful when it comes to Dogecoin as far as how big of a position size that you take up, because though Dogecoin has some good news, though Dogecoin is probably going to get announced for Tesla soon, and though Dogecoin has showed some strong levels of support here at 19 to 21 cents, if Bitcoin pulls back hard enough, it can kill the little bit of a bounce that we had here, kill our upward momentum, and cause us to come back down, and then we start getting some people that feel fear as we break below 19 cents and start heading back to 16 again. And depending on how much Bitcoin pulls back, if it drags Dogecoin far enough and we cross the 16 cent line, then there could be a pullback lower than that. And that's not really something we want to entertain. That would be the lowest that we've seen since, honestly, April. And so I don't think it's going to happen, but I would just say, let's not think about the worst case scenarios. We don't want to trade based off of fear, just off of logic and what makes sense. So right now we're in a great spot to buy if we are confident or feeling positive about the future of Dogecoin, short, mid, and long term. So that being said, I would have a position here, and I personally do. I bought at 16, I bought more, and I keep buying more here just as time goes on. Just buy. I would not all in, just in case we have a pullback, but I would still feel pretty good about buying here no matter what happens next. All right. Thanks, Doge Scotland, and everybody else. Thank you for hanging out. It's been good seeing you guys today in the stream, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.